Hello and welcome back to the Oratory at the end of what's been a fantastic day's tennis, presented by the LRTA and the Moore Family Office, along with other sponsors including the Dedonists. We're here for the second semi-final of the World Championship doubles between Nicola Doble and Georgie Willis, who will be playing Leah van der Zwalmen, already through to the singles final, and Saskia Bollerman looking for her return to the doubles final after the effort 2 years ago. The players are warming up, and joining me here in what passes for the commentary box in the back of the Royal Devon, dead on here in Oratory, is Colin Lumley of Hollyport and many other places around the real tennis world. How are you, Colin?
Very well, Chris. Thank you very much for inviting me along for a little chat.
No, it's a pleasure. It's good to have you here. How's your week been? You've obviously had a vested interest in the other semi-final, Lumley on Lumley. Who were you supporting?
Well, I couldn't lose. It was a fantastic match. I had a winner.
Yeah, good stuff.
Claire and T&RA are just too strong for. Well, that was always going to be the case.
Yeah, no, they look.
Today's players just play at a different pace, whereas we saw in that match how Penny has probably got the most control of the ball out of them all. But with today's modern game, that's not what you need. You need the power.
That's right, although it's not all about power. In sort of doubles at this level, it's about placing the ball. You've got to choose when to deploy the power. There are several points where Claire and indeed T&RA took their time, and then when the opportunity was there, killed the ball. And I think we'll see that here as well. Georgie, I know, likes to hit the ball hard. Sass often does as well, and Leah, of course, has both pace and control.
Yes.
I think it will be fun. Sass is carrying a slight injury which is hindering her, but she's already said she'll be spending a lot of time at the net, I think.
Yeah, I think she'll be up in the first gallery and won't be running around much at the back.
Yeah, did you see Leah's singles match earlier today? Were you
Yes,
here?
I was watching her play my daughter.
Oh, of course, yes, sorry. Well, I'm sorry to bring up bad memories, but what did you make of her play?
Well, it was interesting because it came to that crucial stage, which, you know, in the old days they always used to talk about the vital seventh game, and again that became obvious in the first set when there were 3 games all.
Yeah,
and there was the big game, and that was the big game that swung the match, and T&RA lost that game to 4-3 down, and if she got that game, it would have been a lot closer, but that was just, you know, in so many matches you watch, the 7th game is just so crucial because you either go, you know, if you're 4-2 down, you go to 5-2 down and you're dead, or you're 4-3 and you're still in it.
That's right, yeah. And of course at 3-all it's even more crucial.
3-all, just absolutely crucial.
But yeah, it was looking like the performance of the week for T&RA at that point, holding her own against Leah, and it just slightly tilted, didn't it?
Yes.
She looked at home on this court, I thought, because here we go, as the marker introduces the players. Have you played here at the Oratory? It's a fast court, isn't it? The ball seems to ping around nicely.
The thing that I've noticed so much watching the matches is just how many times you hit the bando on this court. More than other courts. Like we were watching Aiken last week when Nick Howe was playing against Bentayne Matthews, and their bando's 1 inch thick.
Right.
And then you come along here and it's, you know, bang, bang, bang in the bando. Anyway.
But I think that's also because the players are under pressure because the ball's moving fast. So anyway, here we go. It's Leah to serve to get us underway in the second semi-final.
That's quite an achievement to hit the roof here, because
yes, I was going to say you have to try
extremely high roof.
Have to try quite hard. So first point, and it's already clear Nicola and Georgie aren't going to die trying. They're going to actually go for their shots, which is the right approach.
But Georgie produces so much power from nowhere. She's, you know, her racket skills really come, you know, having played at rackets at school, she can really ping the ball around from nowhere.
Yeah, she's the Ladies British Open rackets champion as well, so she's continued that, playing a lot of rackets at Queen's, and you can always tell a rackets player on a tennis court, can't you? They're not phased by the corners, and there's this sort of action.
There's an unusual shot, which I've seen a couple on this court. The balls are quite bouncy, so if you hit high on the timbre, it can hit the floor and bounce into the winning gallery, which it did then. Not many courts in the world you see that on.
No. We'll have statistics from our team on exactly how many bounces into the winning gallery have happened in the last 140 years. That's a second gallery.
No, it's a long time since I've been to a court where it's so much difficult from the hazard end that, you know, whether it's singles or doubles, in this particular court, it's always doubles is down to who's serving. But in this one, even in the singles, you're finding whoever's serving is winning.
Yeah, we've seen rates of people winning. The people who've won the matches have won 60, 70% of their points from the service end, which is what the pros tell people of my handicap. At this level, it's normally down at about 55%. So it really is a service-dominated court.
Well, it's a basic statistics that if you're at the service end heading to the hazard end, you've got the timbre, the winning gallery, the grill, and the winning area. So it's 5 winners. But hazard end heading to the you got the dead on, and that's it.
That's right.
1 to 5.
And the dead on's defended. So Nicola starts serving in the second game. Sass receiving. And that's a good return there to lay a trace of 1 and 2. They want to be down this end.
They won't spend much time at the hazard end in this match.
That's a good return. 15 love. Picked it up low on the floor.
The trouble that you see in matches a bit like this is that this end will try to hit harder and harder to keep up with the other end, and they'll make errors trying to play at that pace.
No, if you're playing a pair who are better than you, it's very easy to feel you've had an excellent game because you've had a battle, but missed the fact that you've lost most of the points.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Well, I'm sure you're fully aware of the 2 rules of doubles, Chris. Are you aware?
The 2 rules?
2 rules of doubles.
Shout yours early?
No. Rule 1 in doubles is always pick a good partner.
Yes, indeed. Well, I played the handicap doubles with Georgie, so I take that one.
So
What's
you've
the
taken
second rule?
The second rule is never ever don't do rule 1.
I think that's about right. And actually, both of these pairs are well matched.
Oh, great shot.
That's a good shot.
Did you win the chase?
1 and 2.
Yes.
Laid the chase, I think. There's applause from Leah and Sass.
Lost it.
Lost that one.
30-15 service. Chase, better than 5.
Nice volley.
Yeah, just let the ball come onto her racket there, didn't she? But had it heading in the right direction. Good choice.
It is such a disadvantage being a left-hander volleying returner serve. You just can't get the same control as a right-hander.
But why are there so many good left-handed players, if that's true?
Well, in the old days, back when I started, left-handers weren't allowed to be. Like David Cull, who was the professional at Lord's, he was left-handed, but Henry Johns, is when he went there, made him play right-handed. So back in that era, you weren't allowed to be left-handed. It was a taboo thing.
Receivers lead,
and it wasn't really till probably Howard Angus was the sort of first left-hander. But Howard and I often meet up and wonder why we didn't turn on the ball, like when you watch Cam and Steve.
Yeah.
And that's something that I haven't seen here with the ladies. There's not many ladies that have learnt to yet turn on the ball. But
you mean on the return of serve?
Just stepping onto their forehand so much more than on their backhand. But yes, return of serve mainly.
Watching Cam in the men's world championship this year, it did look like at several points that he was studying the ball by orbiting it. And he had so much time. And Claire has a touch of that as well against these other players. Still, Nicola and Georgie now serving, fighting hard here. They're ahead in this game, but 2 love down in the set. Here's Georgie's high serve. That's been working for her all week, but it's being punished slightly here. Georgie's selecting that high serve, I know from talking to her, because she sees it as an effective weapon against the left-hander. It cuts out the volley and makes them come back across court.
It's also not giving Leah the ball momentum forwards. So if Leah wants to go to the dead on, she has to create the change of the direction of the ball.
Yeah, and it's always easier to hit the ball where it's already going.
Correct. Pierre was a great exponent of that he very rarely changed the direction. So if a ball came at you, he usually returned it on the same angle it came. He wasn't a believer in changing that direction.
But you see that when cricketers play the game. We saw a couple of the under-19s earlier, full-time or close to full-time cricketers, and they were hitting through the ball as you do if you're batting. And Georgie, I think, thought she got that back up, but the marker called it down. So it's better than 2 chase, which will follow the door. Nicola and Georgie ahead in this game.
Yeah,
they'd like to nick one early, wouldn't they?
Yeah, well, you've got a good, one of the best combinations is a left-hander and a right-hander. so that you got the lefty up challenge covering the galleries, and then the right-hander in the forehand corner, and then vice versa when you go the hazard end. If you've got that combination, you want to return the first return and then swap over, so that again the left-hander, even though they might be returning the serve, but they're hidden underneath the grill, so they're on their forehand. But again, you don't see that at this level.
No, you don't see that.
But if I was coaching, then that's the thing I'd be saying. When you first return, then swap over. But it can be as confusing for you as the other end at the start. So it's something you're used to doing.
Well, that's true, and you also need players. A lot of us. Great point there. Good chase, good defence, but they got away with it at the service end. Forced the error. 15-30. And a good chase here. Full level in the game.
Lost it. 30.
Good try.
Lucky. Yep.
That was well left by Saskia. One of the temptations of the net, to stick their racket out.
Did it well to get that from close to the net as well. Touching the net, of course, loses you the point instantly. So.
Only in this country. In America, you're allowed to do that.
Okay.
You're allowed to touch the net in America. We had that incident in the World Championship. Ben Matthews playing Nicky a couple of weeks ago, where Ben went into the net. But
is it the only difference in rules between the countries? I know the French have a couple. The post is out in America as well, right?
The post is. The net post is a loser on both countries. No, no, the difference is on the penthouse where the
it's real serve, isn't it?
In America, that line goes up under the penthouse, whereas you can see in this one, that line does not go up. So in England, in America,
it's a fault the moment it crosses.
Yes, whereas here you could volley that.
Anyway, this is all academic. We're still fighting this game. Georgie serves. Straight back into the cone. What a way to win a hazard.
Only a rackets player would do, and that's, she's rackets world champion. And that boast is just a classic rackets thing. A lawn tennis player or a squash player wouldn't think of that shot.
Yeah, she was boasting well earlier.
No, Tara's played a lot of rackets in the last couple of years when she's joined Queens, and her ability of reading boast has, I noticed, greatly increased in today's match. She's leaps about.
Racket players don't slow.
Correct. Yes. Yes, they get used to this. Yes, it's a bit like when you play real tennis and then you go and have a game of lawn tennis and you're standing in the net and it comes so slow. You have about 2 seconds to wonder whether you want to intercept it or not.
Right, and it feels like you're holding a frying pan as well. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Nicola serving, 15 love up. There is a trace. That's Leah deciding she wants to serve, I think.
Yeah.
That shot. Don't care what the trace is.
I don't know what's the statistics of how many people have been to the ends. See that from the statistic?
You mean how many serves they've had?
Well, what percentage time they spend at each end?
No, I don't think we don't have that automatically, but I could guess.
I think it's probably 70-30.
Yeah, it looks like that so far.
40.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, you can see in that shot there, the ball basket is in the middle of the court. This is the only one in the world that I know that the ball basket is in the middle.
Oh no, this is a good, if you're listening, then do tell us in the comments. There are others. Certainly Hardwick has a basket in the middle. So
in the middle of the court?
Yes, in the middle of the thing. And there are a few others as well. Do tell us in the comments. Prested, says Ben Gertenbeek, who's joined us on, both Presteds. If we've missed others, do tell us. I've got a feeling more tomorrow does too. But it may just be that it has a big copy. All went to the gallery, missed it. But won the chase. 15-30 rather. While you're here, Ben, Ben is the mastermind behind streaming. Do we have statistics on how many points people take from the service end? As in, who's serving most? We don't have that automatically. We can guess. It's Leah and Saskia. And they are 15-30 at the minute with one chase late.
forward momentum.
40-15.
Yeah.
She can't hit for the dead or anything like that, so she's got to create all the power.
Yeah, taking the pace off it and keeping it tight. It's those two things, right, that are important, and both being done excellently. Of course, we're late in the week, so the players have got used to the court. They know exactly
There's no one wasn't used to the court anymore. No, that's excuse has gone out the window.
Yeah, and prevent other ones like the fact that the other pair are playing very well.
The fact that I was training last night at the pub. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's not taking it pretty seriously. Suddenly it's 40-15. Nicola and Georgie here.
Big opportunity to get their first
It's a real
One game to 3.
Well done.
Using the whole racket, we call that, I think.
Yeah.
Georgie's high serve to follow. Can they capitalise?
Gallery.
Again, just notice that the first thing she does is set a chase. So no matter what happens in this game now, she is going to serve at some point in this game.
And it does seem to be, it is the first point. She's less interested in setting a chase now. She'll go for winners, but it's sort of an insurance point, right?
Yeah, when I played, it's so important to get served. And if you get that chase on the first point, you can then concentrate in the rest of the points more on the tennis.
Yeah.
You know you're going to get a serve at some point.
Yeah, well, in this case, of course, there was an overhit chase, so there's hazard better than 2. So we've now got 2 chases, no strokes in the 5th game of the match. 3-1 to the servers. Notable that they were behind in the rest for lots of that. There were chances for Leah and Sass because of the serve is good, so the return is tricky.
Leah's the only girl who seems to use the backhand drag more than the forehand drag, which works well on this court.
Out. 15.
Very big tandem here.
Yeah.
It's a noticeable thing when you sit in the down and you go, wow.
Was that deliberate at the time that this was put together?
Yes. The biggest change that's happened in the recent courts that we built at Chicago, first of all, and then now Washington, is that we've increased the height of the ledge of the dead-on the galleries to make them smaller areas. But at Washington, we've actually left the grill at the lower height, so the grill is a lower height ledge than the side galleries.
Yeah. In order to reduce hazard chases, partly, right? That change?
Well, the game is becoming so dominant with people banging them in the galleries all the time, it was felt to make them a bit smaller. So we've brought them up a couple of inches.
Yeah. I know, at the level I'm playing, I'm a big fan of people realising that you should go for that. But meanwhile, it is 40-15 in not the crucial 7th game, but what might be a crucial 5th game, I think. Leigh and Saskia want to stamp out Nicola and Georgie's brief renaissance here. And they've done so. That's 4-1, back in control. And thanks to Brooke Simmons, who's sending tips on our microphone levels. If you want to comment, you can do so in the chat. Ben is busy compiling a list of courts with baskets in the middle. The old Washington court is on the list as well. New one, not so, I believe.
I didn't think, you said Morton Morrow. I don't think Morton Morrow.
No?
I think Morton's over on the left hand.
That's fine, but it has a big flat basket.
It's
with a
very
big
big basket.
Yeah, fine, so notable for other reasons.
No, and they actually went, in my days, they were all wicker baskets, but now the modern plastic seems to take over in so many areas. It's great to see we've got a traditional basket here.
Yes. Well, otherwise it'd be impossible to play World Championships, I feel. I think all the things we should hold to.
Wicker baskets.
That's right, yeah. Right. We'll start the campaign now.
No, we actually, when I started in Melbourne, we had wicker baskets, but there used to be the tradition of taking the balls down and then throwing the basket, and we used to give a bisque if you managed to throw the basket into the hole.
Right, and if you break the basket, you have to give
Well, the trouble is, that was the trouble. The baskets were wearing out very quickly because everyone was going for the bisques.
anything that I'm a big fan of it's already been mentioned on commentary today that I'm president of the Radley Society for the Preservation of Bisques.
All right.
Which is an
no,
important
a bisque is something that unfortunately isn't used as much. Like on my early days, we used to have the Victorian or Tasmanian Open handicaps, where you got people like Barry Totes playing off 0-40-30, and the person's got a bisque, and the dead on sitting there with their tape across their mouth because someone's got a set point or something, and they're not taking their bisques, and the whole crowd's. But it was very taboo. You weren't allowed to say anything. But boy, there were lots of tongues being bitten in the dead on.
Well, no handicaps to worry about here. Went for the winning gallery. Missed.
2 hazards.
2 hazards. Better than a yard and then second. 30 all. I mean, that's Trace's laid is 6 all, so that tells you something about who's serving most. Yeah. It suggests it's relatively... Oh, actually, it doesn't tell you that at all, because it just tells you that they've swapped ends enough. But yes.
I can see 2 very forceful returns coming up here at 30 all with 2 hazards.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll see a cut shot into the corner.
No, and I guess the servers send a player up because you've got to defend the galleries, and so it's the responsibility, I suspect, of Georgie at the back to deal with this. There goes Nicola. And
as we thought, Saskia unleashes a bullet return.
Yeah, you don't really think of Saskia as somebody who forces hard, but she's got a great shot.
She can block it. Again, we won't see a delicate shot played here. Then
put back.
She's gone for the gallery, but
great return that.
Yeah, great volley back.
And a good example for people who are watching you play the doubles themselves. Going up doesn't mean running to first. Nicola was this side of second to play that, and it gave her the time to react.
Yeah, I always coach that the person who's defending the galleries should be back at the last gallery, and then when they do hit it, you go forward so that your momentum is behind your shot, rather than standing there and then getting hit onto your back foot.
And you're conceding first and maybe the door.
If someone's good enough to hit the first gallery, they can have it.
Yeah, or if the serve's bad enough in this case for a hazard choice. So, advantage Nicola and Georgie. Can they get a second game here? Oh, hazard.
I think there was a little bit of wood on that one.
Yes.
But you paid for it, you're allowed to use it.
Yep. I remember Craig Greenhow in Oxford offering to re-wood my racket after a couple of those.
I always go down and help with the Boomerang Cup down in Australia.
Yeah, indeed.
And I think with the record, each year we have a sort of there's about 8 professionals there, and we report what's the most wood after wood after wood. And I think we get up to 6 or 7 shots in a row that are off the wood.
Yeah. I mean, that's a skill that players of this calibre haven't developed, unlike some of us who play off higher handicaps.
Have you done a Boomerang Cup?
We played in 2020. We got the Oxford Unicorns down and had great fun.
I think everybody, no matter what ability, should always play 1 Boomerang Cup in their life.
Well, I'm hoping for 2, but thank you for saying I'm not welcome for a second.
One is everyone must do
I
one.
See, okay.
I was talking to Graham Tompkinson, who was involved with the Denners here, who was a very keen player, and he didn't do one, which surprised me, but he regrets it now.
Yeah. Game point, Nicola and Georgie again.
That was beautiful.
Well defended. Yeah.
Didn't try to hit too hard, just let the racket do the work.
No, it took time to put the racket in the right place.
Yeah, the temptation there is to hit as hard as you can, but you don't need to. Placements is...
Third deuce and advantage to the servers. They've been in a bit of a jam in this game. Can they get out a bit for 5-1? Is the serve. That's the game.
That makes it tough.
Yep. And play is continuous, of course, so we're straight on. No time to breathe.
So you saw there that Leah was sort of pinned against the back wall, and that's the thing that I've noticed a lot over the last couple of days. You get some courts where when you miss the dead on, the ball comes down parallel with the back wall a hell of a lot. But this particular court, it seems to have a second bounce on the penthouse and doesn't come down parallel.
Yeah.
So, and I think it's because the penthouse is actually quite a wide penthouse.
It's quite bouncy as well, so
Yeah,
I think it's
bouncy.
absorbing a lot of the power if you miss a force. I would agree. Great shot to the dead on there. First one, surprisingly, given all the forcing we've seen, but the players are good enough to try and defend.
Good defending.
Yeah, or at least attempted defending.
Yeah.
And there's that bounce off the tambour that comes off that side wall. Yeah.
Well done, Sass. A couple of good defences there. Another one. Might have left that for a hazard. I would have left it for a hazard if I was them. We'll see if that might cost them the serve. Ooh, Sass has framed another one. It's a great rally. This might be the longest rally of the match.
And they win it. It's funny, that started with Georgie and Nicola took over halfway through. They did brilliantly there.
That must be the longest rally of the match. I'm sure our statistic will pump up how many shots that was.
Yeah, plenty, I think Ben is saying.
More than one.
Yeah, exactly. So, 30-15. Georgie and Nicola battling to stay in this first set of the second semi-final.
There you go, so Lear had not read the nick there, and it gets in the nick, and next thing you know, it's a chase rather than set up. The difference being probably, a couple of inches between reading and the nick or not reading.
Yep.
And that's again, you see with the Rob Fay's ability to read when it was going to be a nick was just amazing.
Yeah.
And Claire to a degree as well. Claire's been...
I enjoyed very much last time, not to talk about me too much, but last time I played here in a Thames Valley League match, something died in the corner and I turned around and said, no one can read that, and looked up at the marker, a certain Mr. Fay, who was looking at me with a smug grin. I said, okay, some of you can.
Some of you can, yeah.
Yeah. 40-15 here, Nicola and Georgie, with a chase better than 3 to defend. In a good position here to get a second point. I'm enjoying the fact they're both wearing their Bathurst Cup Great Britain tops as well. I think
that was a great innovation, bringing that into the game, and the date has been set in March 2024 for the next one of that
in Australia,
down
right?
in Melbourne. Yep, it's in Australia. I don't know if it's Melbourne or Hobart.
Yeah, but Georgie, in the questionnaire we sent round to all the players before, I'd said it was her greatest achievement in tennis was playing in that, and I think T&RA said captaining the team. It's really good to see.
Lady Bathurst spent some time supporting it too, which was fantastic.
There you go. That's the game. 2-5.
2-5.
Cheers from the dead on. Dead on full of people looking to see good tennis and who are also where the tournament dinner is coming up. So it's slightly mixed loyalties, I think. 73%, actually 59% of service points won is pretty good to this level, but against 73 at the other end, it's tough.
That back, that was a good get.
Yeah, it's a Georgie Willis speciality, that sort of slightly desperate backhanded, double-handed thing. It's a racket shot.
I've seen her play a lot of rackets, and she does hit a lot of frames, but she gets it over the net. It doesn't matter how you get it over.
Yeah.
But Georgie often will hit one, and then in rackets, more than tennis, the ball is not spinning naturally, so when you put your racket on, it goes off like a top.
Yeah.
So you don't. It's very hard to control a ball that someone's hit a bit of wood on. Of course, in a couple of years' time, we might be saying, no longer she hit it off the wood, she hit it off the graphite.
Right, indeed.
Because the graphite racket in rackets is a lot more user-friendly than the tennis one. And they go through rackets faster. Well, a top rackets player in the men's game will go through 400 pounds of rackets a month.
Right.
Where the one that they had at Queen's, they actually restrang the graphite racket 20 times before it broke.
Yeah.
So that's
the tennis ones
you get about 2.
Yeah, and the tennis ones, for those who don't know, there are graphite rackets around, mostly in the US at the minute. They're not legal for tournament play at present, but that may change.
No, well, I was the chairman of the Tennis Association Equipment Committee in 1988.
Last time this happened.
Hang
on, I'm just going to interrupt you to say that's game and set, Leah and Saskia. taking after Nicola and Georgie got the second game there. No fuss, essentially, with Lee and Saskia finishing out the set.
Be interesting to see if the opponents swap over receiving. They're discussing it.
Yeah.
Yep, they're going to do it.
I mean, why not make the change
no,
at this point?
You never, change a losing game, never change a winning game. And if you're 6-2 down, give it the other go the other way. So they've swapped over receiving.
Good rally.
15 love.
Has a chase.
1-2, 15 love service.
That'll give us the chance to get back to graphite rackets in a sec, but first there's this. Oh, it's a fault
So
there.
again, she's doing a backhand drag serve.
It's very economical, isn't it? It's
She's the
very
only
easy.
girl that does it. I don't think you get as much control personally on a backhand as you do on a forehand. But she does it very well.
Out court there, 30 love.
30 love.
Yeah, but you do save your strings.
Well, we had gentleman Gordon come in today who brought in his old gut racket.
This would be Gordon Tanner, yeah.
He didn't know what gut he had in it. There used to be two types of gut. There was a Gaithier's gut and there's a Tracy's. And the Tracy's was the cheaper one and used to break through a lot easier. But he has Gaithier's in his racket.
40 love, 1 chase.
No, as I was saying,
you were saying
I was the chairman of the commitment committee in 1988, and the Australians had brought out a graphite real tennis racket, and we banned it. And at the time, I think it was the right thing to do, because if you'd put 20 years of technology into it, and that's where golf cocked it up. Golf had the opportunity to restrict the ball. They didn't do so, and now the game's just ridiculous. You've got people, driving 360 yards.
Yeah.
And with real tennis, if the ball gets, like the ball travels 50% faster today than when I started the game.
Just because of the artificial strings?
35% of that is down to the development of the synthetic instead of the gut, and 15% due to the improvements in the rackets not cracking as much.
Yeah.
But we can't move it any further away, or we can't change the court.
Right, and we want to play on the historical courts as well.
I'm a great believer we're getting close.
First game, Lee and Saskia, by the way. Sorry, carry on.
I'm getting, I've been canvassing that just for 2 months in the year, just in July and August, we should try a rule change of having the dead on as a loser on the returner serve, and after that it is a winner, because the flawed game is disappearing. Because people have been seeing Rob Fay, who's just awesome at hitting the ball very, very firmly around the court. So if you get a new player come to the game, the first thing he thinks he's got to do is hit the hell out of the ball.
Though to be fair, we're not seeing a lot of that this week. Actually, I know this is.
I think the girls are hitting the ball today a lot. Like if you went back to the original final, which I was at in Melbourne in 1985, when you got Judy Clark playing Leslie Rolfman, the ball wouldn't have been travelling a quarter of the speed, and every turn was on the floor. They were both beautiful classic tennis players. It was lovely tennis shots. They would force probably 1 in 50 balls.
Sure, but as we watch Nicola and Georgie take a lead in a game and then be dragged back by Lee and
but she stopped the
Saskia.
chase there. She might have lost a point, but she's still retained the serve.
Yeah,
she didn't let them.
No, exactly, and that's always crucial. I was just saying, I think we could, there is variety in the modern game. I think it's easy to talk about the modern game as being hard hitting and the old game as being classic on the floor. But if you watch players of sort of the top 20 in the world on men's or women's side, the variety of styles and play is really quite interesting. It's one of the things that makes the game for me, is that you see people trying to do different things in different shots, even while the ball's whizzing around.
Yeah, it's when you watch Claire play, she's just got so much power and control.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And that's why she's so streaks ahead of the other girls. But they're catching up. Lee's, I think, down to a 15 handicap, so that's great.
That's right. Yeah, so of the players, I don't actually know Nicola's handicap, but Ben will tell me. Georgie is in just under 30, 28 in doubles, I think. Leah is 15, Saskia's low 20s, Nicola is 31. So it gives you the difference in handicap, but it also gives you a sense that these are great players of the game.
Here's another opportunity for a game point, but unfortunately, they got the hazard.
Yeah.
So. They need to go for the whack for the dead on here.
It's
and
the receivers who are 40-30 up here.
Yep, let's go. Come on, hit it nice and hard.
Sass crossing across to defend the galleries. Cross court. Into the grill.
And maybe we can replay that point when they swap ends, but that was a classic of where Nicola should have stepped inside it and gone on her forehand. Instead, she stayed on her backhand, even though she had. Whereas if you give that to Cam or Steve, it's on their forehand and they're going to hit the Hades out of it.
Or nearly.
But maybe we'll see that point again when they swap ends.
Yeah, no, we don't easily do replays. We can see.
Don't do replays, all right.
Nah, we'll do that later. You can always scroll back on YouTube and see if Colin's right. Oh, nearly got it. Okay, again, Leah and Saskia are upping their game when they need to, just to make sure they stay well ahead here. It's game point. And 2-love.
Yeah. And that's the ability of the better players to know which are the points where you really must clear the net a little bit more. Don't make a mistake, make your opponents win it rather than you give it to them on a plate.
Yep.
See, that's again a real change that's happened since my game when I played. The person could take the ball on the other half as long as their feet weren't that side, whereas now the rule is the ball has to bounce on the other side.
Yeah, so you can't volley
so
that.
we are changing the rules. Games that don't change rules don't evolve. We used to have the pass, which is gone, except the French have kept the pass. But everyone else has got rid of the pass rule.
That's to do with a serve that rolls round, isn't it?
Yes, correct. You used to be able to service, if you did a pass, you got a second serve. And they still use it, and it's actually a bit of a debate. They had it down at the French Open, and the people are developing a serve that you can create a pass after pass.
Right, well, Chris Ronaldson, of course, attempted that. That's one of the reasons the rules were changed. So, anyway, it's 15-all, 2-love and a set to Leah and Saskia, who are, at the minute, accelerating towards tomorrow's final. Georgie and Nicola, I think, are doing exactly what you warned about at the beginning, which is getting drawn into, out of a need to get the points, hitting the ball harder and harder.
Yes, and just losing control of that.
Rather than trying to do something different.
See, there's a classic.
That's a really good example.
One off the penthouse and you put it in the net. Well,
yeah.
She's just feeling the pressure of trying to create that little bit special more shot rather than just getting it over and getting into play.
Yep. I always think one thing that would be interesting in tennis would be if you could call a timeout, because I think if they stopped for 3 minutes and thought about how the game was going and then came back on, and but of course one of the joys is the game is continuous. You have to make these decisions and think about how you're doing while you're still playing, and that's what makes it challenging in matches like this. You don't have the chance to stop and analyse why the score is 6-2, 2-love.
Yeah, it's interesting. I sat down with Josie Tan today and looked at her singles match against Georgie Willis.
Yeah, it's a good match, that, I thought.
Yeah, and when she looked through we went through the whole match from a viewing point of view, and she can't believe some of the things that she's doing that she would not advise anyone does. She does it on the court when the heat of the moment.
Yeah, when you're tired as well, or
And that's again where probably Chris Ronaldson was one of the. Chris wasn't the most talented world champion, but his mind and his statistics and all that, he was just amazing. But
yes, it's an ability to react to
know which is the big point, when to cut it down to a couple of inches above the net, as opposed to giving it 2-foot clearance. And Rob again was so good at that. You'd hit a great shot into a corner, and Rob would get it back. It wouldn't be anything special, but it's still in the rally.
Yep.
Whereas you get some of the other players, they'll try to skim a hard shot, an inch above the net. The next thing you know, you've lost it.
Well, that was a lovely lob into the dead on. I guess that counts as doing something different. Georgie's
2 dead ons. They're winning on the dead on front.
Yeah, but not on the game. 6-2, 3-love.
Well, I think that just backs up that you can't win the dead on race of how many dead ons if you're at the service end most of the time.
Indeed. Yeah, yes, that's true. There is a disadvantage in the race. Saskia serving well, I think, putting pressure on Yeah, it's difficult if you're that player who's mostly playing up. I think it can be difficult to keep control of your serve because it's the moment where you get the ball and so on. But she's a large reason why they're at the 74% service point win. It's a scary total.
Yeah, well done.
That's rule 3 of doubles, of course, which is shout you early.
Oh, right, yes, yeah. No, it's interesting how net courts. We were at Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago, and their net court is very thin and makes a completely different sound. Whereas that was a beautiful sounding thump.
Yeah.
But the net court is the material is quite light, so often you'll get them to skip over rather than die.
Yeah. Were you there for fun, or was there?
No, we were there for John's match.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was very entertaining, and we've got the dates of the next the final World Eliminator have been set for the 15th, 17th and 19th of May at the Philadelphia Racket Club, which is Nick Howell playing against John Lumley.
And then the winner will play the
winners gets the right to play the World Champion in September down at
we should say the men's World Champion, of course, because
we've got the proper one here for the ladies.
Exactly.
There's been debate and talk amongst the ladies to whether they want to go to a challenge event or stay as a tournament. I know it's still up for discussion.
Yeah, I think there's benefits to both.
Yes, there's upsides and downsides.
You wouldn't change the men's one because of the tradition, of course. But here we are, 30 all. Nicola and Georgie still fighting. Nicola serving. They'll want games in this set, I think, if they can get them.
No one likes receiving a donut.
No.
Here's the opportunity off the penthouse. Good shot. Yeah. Yes, well done.
Good, yeah. Nice. She did patience there, paid off, didn't it?
She waited. She played it properly. She had it off the penthouse. She did nice. She didn't hit it too hard. She controlled herself, got the timbre and win the point. So here's another game point.
You make it sound easy.
Rob makes it very easy.
It's easy from here.
Well, everyone's about probably 5 shots better from the dead on than they are on the court.
Oh, I'm beating that today for sure. That's a good shot. Nice length. Again, just control, isn't it? Just knowing exactly how to hit to the right length.
Yeah, and again, I think that's like a bit of showing Georgie's rackets there, that she's not used to the cut, and Leah's cut that down, and because you don't really have cut-in rackets. She was too far out from the back wall. Ball's come down, caught behind her, and you've got to chase better than 3 when she was probably standing at 4, so that the ball was behind her.
That's also, Georgie's used to playing people who aren't Leah, and she would have dug that one out because because it was cut so hard, it dropped underneath any attempt.
See, that's a hard shot to return a railroad down that big gallery wall. And again, the girls don't, well, everyone doesn't, because you've only got half the court there for the ball to raise, they're still hitting at the same height, but of course the ball hasn't raised enough to get over the net. So if you do get dragged up that far, you must aim 2 foot higher than you would normally. But again, Nicola tried, she didn't allow the ball enough time to climb.
Caught out by the speed on Sass's serve there. I do think Sass's serve is contributing significantly to this fairly dominant performance now at deuce and 3 love in the second. Obviously it's Leah's taking much of the play, but Sass's served consistently and received well.
Yeah, there's an unusual one. That, Leah doesn't normally put a ball like that in the net. That was a nice firm shot, but again too low.
Yeah.
So another game point.
Relaxed a little bit, presumably. She'd be forgiven for doing so at 6-2 and 3 love.
Service advantage, hazard, second gallery.
Unfortunately, when they get their game points, they always seem to be on the hazard, so that, this is not going to be a cut shot. We're going to see a bit of pace on the return here, I think.
Can Nicola make the serve stick? Yes.
Yes, well done.
Excellent. Georgie dancing for joy in the corner of your picture there. 1-3. Here we go. Can they come back? It was 1-3 in the first, and it was at this point that Leah and Sass really accelerated.
Yeah, went up a gear.
Yeah. Let's see if they've got that gear in them in the middle of the second. That needed killing, didn't it?
Good defending again. You know, you've retained the serve rather than letting a chase be set. See again a racket shot there by Lear off the backhand, both into the main wall and the double boast off the back wall.
And again, we're seeing a response to Nicola and Georgie winning a game. Leo and Sass closing the door on them. It's only 15 love, I should be less pessimistic. 30 love.
30 love.
See again, beautiful length coming down. Yeah, two dominant chases with 30 love up. You would think they're at least going to win one of them, so they're going to be 40-15 up at worst, and maybe even close out the game.
Yes, unfortunately that leaves us with the advice not to win a game, because it clearly makes them angry, or at least makes them focus, which isn't very helpful. It's been a good contest this, though Nicola and Georgie have been in most of the matches, most of the games, but when they've needed to, Leo and Sass have been able to turn it on. It's a great serve.
See, she's doing a serve that isn't giving Georgie any pace to sort of...
What would you call it? It's sort of a giraffe-like thing, isn't it?
Yeah. There we go in the rafters, down it comes. Just missed it a bit thin.
Very high ceiling here, of course.
Extremely high.
So you've got possibly the highest, I think.
No, I think Paris is the highest.
Yeah, okay.
Paris is amazing.
And that's the game.
Yeah, as we said, they'll probably win both chases, which they've done. They've closed it to 4-1.
Getting sucked into hitting it hard and straight again.
So again, a real rule in doubles is just keep it off that penthouse.
Yeah.
But again, you see the girls putting it up there as soon as the pressure's on.
Yeah, it's an interesting exercise. They won that fight. That's 15 love. It's an interesting exercise when watching, like, to think about who is on top in the rest at any given time. It's almost always, even when it's Nicola and Georgie winning points, it's almost always Lee and Saskia who have the opportunity to be more aggressive.
Yes, there's another great name on timbre there. Such a hard thing to read on this court.
Yeah, that seems to have caused trouble for a lot of people. The timbre on its own is gettable, but
yeah, the timbre is very square because it's a long time since I've seen a timbre that you can set hazards off so easily, other than the Washington, of course, which we know all about.
Well, they fixed it apparently.
Yes, yes, there was a spoof that went out on the 1st of April that they put in a timbre. They were able to alter the angle of the timbre for different events.
Nice.
It's unlucky. It has second.
Yeah, hazard second. Chase disappointment, as it's known. Shame maybe that they're playing with freedom and a bit of joy.
So we've got a good dead on watching at the moment.
Yeah,
back row is completely full.
It's full. Yeah, no, it's great, and people down the side as well.
Yeah, we had a beautiful bit of sunshine here this afternoon for the first time. So we've had an awful couple of weeks of non-stop rain, but it actually felt for the first time sitting out there this afternoon that there's some warmth in the air and spring is coming.
And it's good. You hear the rain on this court as well on the roof.
You do. It's a bit like Melbourne. Melbourne and this court are very similar for the noise. This court's actually quite echoey and very hard to hear the marker. I know that Rob looked into whether they can put some insulation into deaden it, but I think about 20k, that's where Melbourne's very good. It's got the high ceiling, but it has got the insulation to deaden the noise.
Yep.
Actually, it was interesting. I was here, and then yesterday afternoon I went across to Hardwick for another match over there, and the acoustics was just chalk and cheese. The difference between the two of them.
It feels like a bit of a haven going to Hardwick. Hardwick's been hosting the Open Handicap doubles, although the final of that will have been played by now, and also the plate. We have the plate final here tomorrow as part of our entertainment as well.
Who have we got in that?
It's Rachel Hollington from Leamington on one side of the draw, and I don't know who's on the other half.
Tower? Is it in the cup?
5-1.
5-1.
The end is pretty nigh. Leah looking focused. Georgie,
there's
high
Leah's and
Chandel.
Saskia's first dinner because they're at the Hazard End.
Yeah.
Well, not spend much time down there. See, there's another one on the penthouse from a volley. Just got to keep it off that penthouse. Good get, Georgie there.
And dismissed
But
into the
unfortunately
corner.
couldn't do another one. First get there was very good. So what time we got our finals tomorrow?
Well, I was just looking. So we start with the under-19s at 9:30.
Right.
Singles at 11. Doubles, I think, in the afternoon at 2:30.
Right.
And the play in between.
Cool.
So we'll be broadcasting them all live here. And we'll bring you the rest of this match, of course. We might be watching an amazing comeback that we'll talk about for years here, Colin, from Nicola and Georgie.
I think you'd be better to put some money on the lottery tonight.
Well, we've just had the Grand National, so maybe,
Right. Who
maybe
won that
many
one?
people
I
have done that. I haven't checked yet.
Right.
You said 6-1, 6-1 beforehand. I said 6-2, 6-3. We're splitting the difference here,
Yeah.
so I would like to see another couple of games. But Leah and Saskia look focused and
He goes his
ready.
backhand drag. Still in trouble.
Oh.
I think they forgot what the chase was there.
They did. It was better than 2.
Yeah, they were hitting things.
There's some good cross-court shots there, but 15 love.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, so be a good match. The plate's such an important part of this when you've got 26 people entering the main draw.
Plates
It's great,
plates
isn't
are a
it?
very important part of all events. They give the people that maybe are not going to do well against the really top players, but it gives them something to enjoy the event.
Yeah, no reason to travel as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
been nice to have the open handicap doubles as well, which they've let some of us men play in as well. It's
Yes,
been
I was
fun.
wondering why that. Yes, it's unusual to have that, but that's the first time I think that's been done. They've
Yeah,
had
and
a
an
sort of
enormous
mixed-
entry for it as well. It's
Yeah.
been great. Enjoyed my match against T&RA and Penny, playing with Georgie actually. Like you said, picking your right partner.
Yeah.
Back on court as Nicola and Georgie, as so often, have taken a lead in this game. It's 30-15 as Georgie goes for a winner across court, and it's up on the penthouse. And into the winning gallery. Classy that, wasn't
Gives them
it?
their match point. 30
30 all. 2 points away.
Forced by Georgie to get the chase. T&RA again.
Won a chase.
Chase the line, was it?
Looked like it. It may have been first. We'll wait for the marker.
This court doesn't have a worse than first. This only
It doesn't.
Only has the line.
It is the line. It is 30 all. There's your point served. Thank you, Ben. 70-44, so not far off twice as many.
Yeah.
That's excellent work from Master Statistician Ben Gertenbeek on my left here. Thanks to him and Jacqueline Zhu for everything they've done to make the streaming work.
Because we had a thing at the Champions Trophy at Hampton Court, probably maybe it's a year and a half, 2 years ago, and Ben was just getting into the streaming, and I said to him about the statistics, and since that comment, he's absolutely made leaps and bounds, and the information he's now providing is just fantastic.
Oh, I left that, and I think that beat the chase. It did, bringing up match point. Gosh, serving to Leah on match point, chase the line. Tough.
And one fold. That even puts pressure on.
What could Georgie serve up? Still in play.
So again, Luna's learned to just get that back in play. She didn't try to do too much with it. Just get it back into play. So Georgie should go for Hazard Gallery here. Again.
Oh, great points, but that ends the match. Great press. Leah van der Zwalmen and Saskia Bollerman win through to tomorrow's final. 6-2, 6-1, beating Nicola Doble and Georgie Willis in a hard-fought but ultimately reasonably easy passage for the number 2 seeds, who will play, of course, Tara Lumley and Claire Fahey tomorrow. It will be a historic day tomorrow. Claire is going for Penny Lumley's record of 6 singles and 6 doubles World Championships.
Penny's got 7 doubles.
7 doubles?
Penny's got 7 doubles.
There you go. Well, I stand corrected. We're going for a record in singles. Colin Lumley, thank you very much for joining us for this semi-final. We will be back with the under-19s final at 9:30 tomorrow morning on the T&RA channel, followed by the singles at 11. And if you've enjoyed watching the doubles with us this afternoon, we'll be there at 2:30. I hope you'll join us for some excellent tennis from the LRTA and sponsored by the Moore Family Office. I've been Chris Lintott, and it's been a pleasure
and a
talking
big thank
to you
you
all.
once again to Ben for all the work, the streaming. It's transforming the game of tennis, allowing people to see it all around the world. So thank you for all the work that you put in and make it a success.
We're off for dinner. See you tomorrow. Good night.